Hello from my studio space. This is Kat Swan with Blank Canvas and Coffee.
This previous video, I mapped out the foreground, middle ground, and background. To pull out my pastel paints. The pastels, I can see readily the different bright colors that I might want to pop in on a composition. So this is something that I do once in a while instead of pulling out all the acrylic. You can see there's a different variety of greens and blues, and purples. One of my favorites, this is a red or a bright pink. Look at how pretty that color is. I'm going to have this set off to the side and Kings Beach, Lake Tahoe. Let's see what we can do with these colors in pastel. Okay, so I'm going to stand off to the side as much as possible. The paper I'm working on will be easily viewed. I'm just going to hide this back here. The colors that I'm seeing are the earth tones, subdued greens, and sand colors, and the really pretty blues of the sky. So that photo was taken in April 2 years ago. This is not a color that I would necessarily use within the painting, but I just really like it and think that could inspire. And this is kind of similar to that pink color, but it's a little larger to work with. So what I'm going to do, I have a board back here for support. Just map out the scene with this brighter color. So this green, somewhat of a complementary color to this pink. And I am going to lay out rough of the composition, rocks at the beginning of the lake from the beach. And then from there, we've got the waves coming in from the water. So that's about there. Background, we've got the mountains in the sky. Two colors I have represented are that pink and that green. Just because I like them, not because they're going to be part of the painting, but that'll get me going. Move past that blank canvas moment. And I might be testing a couple just to see. This goes much faster in getting the colors set than if I were working in acrylic paint. So I think I might stay within this family. You need to be careful with pastels. With the chalk floating around, it can get into your lungs a little bit. So if you are working in pastels long term, you should probably wear a respirator mask, the type of mask where you're not breathing in the dust. Hardware stores have those where you're able to breathe out, but the dust is not going in. Kind of similar to those used for wildfire smoke. So this brown color, and that's a little lighter yellow. There we go. Those are the greens that I want. Blue. That might work well for the highlights in the sky. Okay, that might be good for highlight. And what I usually do with the pastels is I'll go in with a cooler color just to kind of lay in. So this one's well used. That one's a little too dark. One that's slightly lighter. This one in. And that's going to be closer to the water. From there, we've got some lighter reflection, like that one. That will be for the water. And then this lighter blue, which is lighter than that. You can see the chalk coming down off of there. I have paper bags set up to catch that. The darker mountains, I'm going to do a lighter blue first for the mountainscapes here, because you want that atmosphere. That works pretty nicely. And then we'll come in accenting on the top for the snow. And at this stage, it's not perfect. You're just knocking in values and colors and getting an idea of what you want to do. There's some trees over here. Going in with this darker brown, how that works. So got a little patch of trees over here. There's some greenery within. Some highlights there. In this area, it's got that brown and gray rock formations there. So what I'm going to do, a little reflection on the water over there, lighter green. So what I would like to do is incorporate some of that brown and just really lightly brush that in. Essence of that green coming in, and that way you're going around the painting with your colors, kind of pulling it together, not overpowering it with the same color. Then it just turns into a flat look, and I don't want that. Pull some of those blues back in. So I'm seeing here this kind of washes in that way. So some of those sandy colors, that darker one over here, and graduate rocks here and there. This is a little more lighter than that. I'm just gonna little highlights of the rocks, a little more green than I'd like. Back in with the blue. Has a little more orange in it, so we'll see. That helps transition. I think that works pretty well. That balances it out, kind of removes some of the green rocks down in here. Again, this is a rough draft, just to give you an idea of where you might want to take the painting. Sky, we've got some deeper blues. And with pastels, it's just about layering, getting your colors layered in there. Let's kind of come down here a little bit. See how the lake comes up to meet. And there's reflection right here. So you're gonna have reflections in there. Sky coming down. It's a warmer white, cooler white, warm white. That's a little bit, so we can get some of the clouds in here. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the different colors to use. Greens that I had hinted at in the photo are mostly in this area. Then we have the sandy colors mostly in this area. And then the deep blues and the accents of white. This might have a little, make it a little more green. This might be a little more white. That kind of brings it out. So that gives a rough idea of what I want to do with the paints. Sometimes I'll have a color in the pastel box that I don't necessarily have in my acrylic palette to work with, but then I can get inspiration from here, and playing around with the color combinations in the pastel box gives me a good idea of how to blend those colors in the acrylic paint. So, and that's what I like to do in the studio, is kind of jump back and forth between mediums in the process, just to give an idea of what can be done with the other medium. So it's good to learn different techniques, and gives you a little more freedom in the studio. All right, so Kings Beach, Lake Tahoe, Kings Beach, Lake Tahoe, and those are the colors. So the next, the Monterey Coast. It was a very cloudy, foggy day. In the painting, I'm going to be able to pull up these highlights in the sand, get them to come towards you a bit, but really use that mood of that fog layer for the atmosphere. So here's some darker grays you can see in the background there. And these light grays and blues are in the water and in the cloud formations and fog. And then in the sand dunes, we've really got these great deep greens, the sandy earth tones, and then some sienna colors kind of popped in here and there with the flowers and the ice plant. I'm going to use this blue to outline it. And the composition, we've got ice plant in the dunes. And then there's that big jump there, and then we've got some of the bay, and then the peninsula with the buildings in the background, and a lot of sky. Just that big open space of fog. We love our fog. All right, so for colors, That is a lighter green color, very beachy. Go ahead and use that. Keep that one here. This is more of an olive, between an olive green and a yellow. Like that sandy color. And that's good for the darker tones, but might want to go with something else. Let's see. Getting there. Wonder if that might work as we layer those. Okay, so we've got our sienna colors over here on the right hand. I like that for the green. This is a little too bright. That might work for a highlight. I like that for the green. Very similar to here. Okay. And this one would be good for the dunes. And that's a good gray color. And that's a good gray color. Do we have enough? Possibly. Okay, so with this green, so we'll establish the dunes a little more. This will map out the ice plant over the dunes. Sometimes you have to move it around to get the angle that you want on the pastel sticks. And I tend not to blend with my fingers. I like the layered look of the pastels. The background, right about there, I think this is a dark enough color. We'll use this color to establish what's in the background. And that is our land mass coming out into the bay. Beautiful Monterey Bay. And that's more of a teal color after getting it down in a larger area. Let me see if I can fix that. I want it to be a more blue color. A little more neutral. And then come back in with not too bright. There we go. That's more subdued there. Okay. So that and that. So just very lightly hint at the darker areas of this guy. We'll bring in lighter tones here. Oh, here's my white. I'm pretty sure that's the white. Is that the white? Let's see. Yeah, this is little. So we'll do that. For the dunes, come back in. This is a darker orange. And again, this is just to give us an idea of the color. It's not exact. Change it up however you like. There we go. That's going to be better for the ice plant. And then we'll layer it with that yellow. Kind of a mustard, light mustard yellow. See how that can pop out. The different colors. Maybe that's a lighter one, or a little darker. Draw it back a little bit. That gives an idea of what direction to go with. So leave that there. This is what pastel hands look like. You really get into your work and you get all the pretty colors. All right, so this is the Monterey Coast from this photo. When I'm not driving, I get the pleasure of taking photos from my car that allow me to crop out anything that I don't need in the photo. These were the colors that I thought might work. Similar choices in the pastel. I'll work this out more with the acrylic paint. So that's the Monterey Coast. Okay, next up, the Santa Monica Pier. All the really bright, fun colors. And this pastels really lend themselves to this type of color palette because you can really pop in the bright neon style colors. So let's see how this goes. Set that back there. And we'll put the Santa Monica Pier right here. Brighter colors. And right about there. Okay, well, a circle for the Ferris wheel. Then you've got some rooftops. And you've got the other rides coming through the Ferris wheel. The pier, let's see, there. Some pylons. And that's about where the pier is. Right about there. So, but your big focus is the wheel that's taking up a majority. I'm gonna do the sandy olive colors first. Oh, that's a good one right out of the box. That is going to be some of the sand back here. Some of the buildings have these natural earth tones mixed into them. A hint of it in the water there, just to carry it. And I might use those as well. And then we'll incorporate this lighter green into some of the buildings. Under the roof lines. And then this yellow. I'm using some of the buildings as well. And then that can incorporate into some of the roller coasters going around the amusement area. And then some of this pink. I really like this pink color. And incorporate that into some of the cars on the Ferris wheel. The spokes coming in, I'm just going to use that as a foundation color. Then really want a light blue. That might be a good combination. So we see some of the lights reflecting into it. There's that centerpiece. There's a lot of spokes on this Ferris wheel. So do that. And then you've got the ring of lights around the outside of it. So we'll give it some movement and not have it the bright white all the way around, but just around most of it to give you that sense of the flickering lights on the wheel. And then go into that ocean. There's a reflection of the lights in here. That sparkly blue, which is closer to this blue. Lay in some blue here, and it's lighter over in this area. And we'll bring some of that from up here down into the reflection of the water. See how rough it is? It doesn't have to be that detailed because you're really getting an idea of the play of the color against complementary colors, you know. How's it gonna play with everything else? What effects are you going for? We'll do that. And then we'll keep that dark olive green and put it in on some of the lighter posts in the pier. Bring some more browns in for that wood on the pier. Some oranges to get those highlights. That structure. And then the darker sections underneath. We'll knock in some sky and then go back in with the beach. So that sky, it's really fun blue color. And it's not as light as the Ferris wheel colors, but it's got a really pretty blue to it. So I'm going to just incorporate that into it. And then there is a bit of a haze. Southern California along the pier, it can be slightly hazy. I'm going to bring in some warmer tones. Got the sunset reflecting in it as well, but there is some smog. That's a reality. So let's see how that looks for the haze. And then maybe light it up a little bit. So that pushes the sky back a little bit, and then the darker colors can come forward. And we'll also have this color represented in the Ferris wheel, not to bring it together too much. If you bring too much of this warmer color into the Ferris wheel with highlights, it's just going to push the Ferris wheel back and not have it pop forward. And so for the sand, we'll stay with those yellow colored sandy effect. There we go. And those blues popping the ocean. Then we'll bring in a little lighter color into the surf. And there is each of the compositions. All right, so there's the Santa Monica Pier example. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. And we've got the Monterey coastline and Kings Beach in Lake Tahoe. These are the pastels. I love my chalk pastels. I purchased the case about 30 years ago, and I've been adding to as I work through colors and start to like different palettes. I incorporate them into the trays. And 3 levels of trays in the case. It's very handy. I really enjoy working with them. I don't work with them that often because of the chalk, and it's really not good to breathe in the chalk pastel. And that's it. In an upcoming video, I'll go back in with acrylic paints and see if I stay within these color palettes, if I'm able to mimic them between the digital and the pastel color palettes. We'll see how it goes. Don't stop experimenting. Have fun with your art. The dust goes everywhere. Oh my. dust is there. Now for my coffee break.
Thank you so much for watching my blank canvas and coffee video, and I hope to see you next time when we view another blank canvas together and maybe have some time to enjoy some coffee. If you enjoyed today's art session, please don't forget to like and subscribe at the bottom of this video, and please click on the bell to receive a notification for my next art session. See you next time.